The glass doors of Apex Ventures swing open with a whisper. Zara Mitchell steps into the lobby, her emerald green blazer sharp against the white marble floors. Everything here screams money. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Sand Hill Road. Abstract art worth more than her entire funding ask. A receptionist who doesn't smile. She's early. 15 minutes early. She checks her laptop bag. The pitch deck loaded, the demo ready. 3 years of work compressed into 12 slides. Her palms are dry. She's practiced this moment 100 times. Ms. Mitchell? The receptionist's voice is flat. Conference room 3. 3rd floor. The elevator ride is silent except for her heartbeat. When the doors open, she sees them through the glass walls. 3 white men in identical navy suits scrolling through phones. None of them look up when she enters. Zara Mitchell, Medilink AI, she says, extending her hand. The lead partner, Richard Crane, silver-haired, mid-50s, glances at his watch before shaking. Let's make this quick. We have another meeting at 11. It's 10:42. She connects her laptop to the screen. The Medilink logo appears, a neural network shaped like a heartbeat. She begins. Her voice is steady, confident. Clinical trial data. Diagnostic accuracy rates. Market projections showing a $47 billion addressable opportunity. Crane yawns. 6 minutes in, he interrupts. Who's your technical co-founder? Zara pauses. I built it myself. I have a team now, but the core architecture... You coded this? The woman to his left, Patricia something, doesn't hide her skepticism. Yes, I've been developing AI models since... Crane cuts her off with a wave. Cute idea, but this isn't what we fund. Healthcare AI is crowded. You'd need serious infrastructure. A C-suite with exits, enterprise relationships. He closes her deck without scrolling past slide 4. Come back when you have a real team. The third investor stands before she can respond. Patricia follows. Crane taps his phone screen, already moving on. Zara stands there, laptop still connected, her revolutionary platform glowing uselessly on the wall behind her. 9 minutes. They gave her 9 minutes. Security will validate your parking, Crane says without looking up. She unplugs her laptop. Her hands don't shake until she reaches the elevator. 6 months earlier, Zara Mitchell's apartment in Oakland doesn't look like the birthplace of a revolution. It looks like organized chaos. A studio with one wall covered in whiteboards, another lined with servers humming like a mechanical heartbeat, a kitchen table buried under medical journals and spiral notebooks filled with code. She sits cross-legged on the floor at 2 a.m., hair tied back, wearing a Stanford hoodie she kept from her dropout days. On her screen, lines of Python scrolling past, training a neural network to recognize patterns in 100,000 patient diagnostic records. The model is learning, slowly but learning. Zara is 34. She has her mother's dark eyes and her father's stubborn jaw. She speaks 3 languages and codes in 7 programming frameworks. She left Stanford sophomore year, not because she failed, but because her grandmother got sick and someone had to be there. The hospital bills drained everything. She worked tech support during the day, coded at night, and watched her grandmother die from complications of undiagnosed lupus. The doctors missed it for 8 months. Called it stress, called it aging, never ran the right tests until it was too late. That failure, medical and human, planted something in Zara, a rage that calcified into purpose. She'd build what the system couldn't or wouldn't, technology that actually saw patients, especially the ones doctors overlooked. Medilink AI was born in that grief. An artificial intelligence platform that could analyze symptoms, medical histories, and demographic data to flag rare diseases early. It learned from millions of cases, looked for patterns humans missed. In early tests with community clinics, it caught 3 cases of lupus in patients told they had anxiety. It identified a rare blood disorder in a teenager whose symptoms were dismissed for years. The technology worked. Zara knew it worked. She had the data, peer-reviewed, clinically validated, irrefutable. Now she needed money to scale it. Real infrastructure. Partnerships with hospital networks. That meant venture capital. That meant people like Richard Crane. On her desk sits a framed photo. Her grandmother at 60, smiling in a hospital gown 3 days before she died. Next to it, a sticky note in Zara's handwriting. Build it so well they can't ignore it. She looks at that note every morning. She believes it. She has to. The pitch begins at 10:42 a.m. Zara has practiced every word, timed every slide. She knows the objections before they come. Market saturation, regulatory hurdles, monetization paths. She has answers for everything, except she never gets to use them. Richard Crane sits at the head of the table, fingers steepled, watching her with the expression of someone enduring traffic. Patricia Wu, a partner who made her name in consumer apps, keeps glancing at her phone. The third investor, David something, hasn't said a word. Zara reaches slide 3, clinical data from a 6-month pilot with Oakland Community Clinics. 89% diagnostic accuracy, 40% faster time to treatment, 3 lives definitively saved, dozens more improved. Who validated this data? Crane asks, his tone suggesting he already doubts the answer. Dr. Sarah Kim at UCSF Medical Center, Dr. Jerome Wallace at Johns Hopkins reviewed the methodology. I can send you there and your technical team. Patricia interrupts. Who's building the production infrastructure? I have 2 engineers and a data scientist. Small team, but we've... Crane leans forward. Who's your CTO? I'm leading technical development myself. I built the core models. You? Patricia's eyebrows rise. You're the sole technical founder? I have a team, but yes, I architected. When did you graduate from Stanford? Crane asks. His voice is casual, but his eyes are sharp. I left after sophomore year to... David laughs. Not loud, but audible. A small sound that cuts like glass. Crane closes his laptop. Look, Zara, this is interesting. But healthcare AI is brutally competitive. You're going up against companies with PhD teams, enterprise sales forces, regulatory experts. You'd need at least 20 engineers, a proven CEO with healthcare exits, and probably another year of clinical trials before anyone takes this seriously. I have clinical trials. The data shows what you have, Crane says, standing, is a science project. Come back when you have a real company, real leadership, a team that can scale. Patricia is already at the door. David checks his watch. Zara sits there, her laptop still glowing with slide 3, the data they didn't read, the proof they didn't see. She closes the screen slowly, disconnects the cable, and stands. Thank you for your time, she says. Her voice doesn't waver. Crane nods absently, already on his phone. Margaret at the front desk will validate parking. The security guard escorts her to the elevator. Not aggressively, politely. That somehow makes it worse. In her car, parked under a tree that cost more to maintain than her monthly rent, Zara sits with her hands on the steering wheel. She doesn't cry. She doesn't scream. She stares straight ahead, replaying every moment. The dismissal wasn't about her pitch. It was decided before she said a word. She starts the engine, drives. The Bay Bridge stretches ahead of her, silver cables cutting the sky. Zara drives on autopilot, her mind replaying the meeting in cruel loops. Not what she said, what she saw, the way Crane looked past her, the way Patricia smirked when she mentioned coding it herself. David's laugh, casual and cutting, like her competence was a punchline. She's felt this before. In computer science classes where professors called on her last, in hackathons where judges questioned whether she'd really built her submission alone. In 100 small moments that taught her the same lesson. Prove yourself twice, get half the credit. But this was different. This was 9 minutes. They didn't even pretend to care. Traffic slows near Treasure Island. Zara's hands tighten on the wheel. She thinks about her grandmother, the doctors who dismissed her symptoms as stress, who didn't run tests until she was in crisis, who apologized at the funeral with useless sincerity. Patterns repeat. Systems protect themselves. Her phone buzzes. A text from Marcus, her lead engineer. How'd it go? She doesn't answer. Can't yet. Oakland appears through the fog. She parks outside her building, sits in silence. The rejection burns differently now, not hot but cold. Surgical. She pulls out her laptop, opens the Medilink dashboard. The algorithm is still running, still learning, still improving. 3,000 lines of code, she wrote herself. Data from 50 clinics. Proof that works. Inside her apartment, she stands at the whiteboard covered in network diagrams. She picks up a marker, uncaps it, then stops. What is she supposed to fix? The technology is sound. The data is clean. The market is desperate for solutions. The problem isn't her work. It's them. She thinks about Crane's face when he asked who her CTO was. The barely concealed disbelief. The assumption that someone like her couldn't possibly build something this sophisticated alone. Zara caps the marker. She won't change the code. She'll change the game. Her grandmother's photo watches from the desk. She walks over, touches the frame. I don't need them, she whispers. I just need to be undeniable. The decision forms slowly, then all at once. She opens her laptop, starts a new list. Angel investors outside Sand Hill Road. Diverse VCs, founders who built without the blessing of men like Crane. She'll build anyway. They'll see it when it's too big to ignore. Zara was 19 when she learned that brilliance isn't always enough. Stanford, sophomore year, spring semester. She'd just won the annual hackathon with diagnostic software that could predict heart disease from speech patterns. The judges, all men, all white, looked stunned when she walked on stage to accept the prize. Did you really build this alone? One asked, smiling like it was a joke. The room laughed. Uncomfortable, but still laughter. Dr. Helena Chen found her afterward in the computer science building, sitting on the floor outside the lab. Dr. Chen was the only woman of color on the faculty. Taiwanese immigrant, MIT PhD, legendary for her work in neural networks. She sat down beside Zara without asking. They'll always question you, Dr. Chen said. Always. You'll present irrefutable proof and they'll ask who really did the work. You'll publish papers and they'll assume you had help. This is the cost of being excellent while different. Zara looked at her. So what do I do? Build so well they can't deny you. Make your work so undeniable that their doubts look like ignorance. It won't be fair. But it works. That conversation lived in Zara's mind for years. She thought about it when she left Stanford. Not because she failed, but because her grandmother collapsed during a Sunday dinner and someone had to be there. The hospital was chaos. Her mother worked double shifts. Her father was gone. So Zara became the one who slept in waiting rooms, who asked doctors questions, who noticed when symptoms got worse. Her grandmother, Zara Mitchell, retired teacher, church choir singer, the woman who taught Zara to read, spent 8 months being told her exhaustion was normal for her age. The joint pain was arthritis. The rashes were stress. By the time they diagnosed lupus, her kidneys were failing. Zara sat beside her in those final weeks, watching machines breathe for her, and made a promise. She'd build technology that wouldn't fail people the way these doctors did, that wouldn't overlook, dismiss, or ignore. Medilink started as anger. It became purpose. She worked tech support for 3 years, boring corporate software, soul-crushing tickets, decent pay. Every night she coded. Weekends at the library pulling medical journals. She taught herself immunology, pathology, diagnostic criteria for 200 rare diseases. The first version of Medilink was garbage. The second barely worked. By version 7, it caught a case of lupus in a woman whose doctors had called it depression. Zara cried when she read the email from that patient's daughter. Dr. Chen's words echoed, "Build so well they can't deny you." She built. 3 years alone, underfunded, relentless. And now men like Richard Crane dismissed it in 9 minutes. Zara closes her eyes, sees her grandmother's face, hears Dr. Chen's voice. opens her laptop and gets back to work. 3 weeks after the Apex rejection, Zara is coding at 11 p.m. when the LinkedIn message appears. Priya Sharma. Hi Zara, we haven't met, but I was an intern at Apex during your pitch. There's something you should know. Zara stares at the screen. She doesn't recognize the name. The profile shows a young woman, Stanford Senior Computer Science, previous internships at Google and Sequoia. Smart kid, she types, "What do you mean?" The response comes immediately. Priya, they didn't read your deck. Crane told us the day before your meeting. Another diversity pitch, probably not our demographic. Those were his exact words. I'm so sorry. I thought you should know. Zara's hands freeze over the keyboard. She reads it twice. 3 times another message appears. Her screenshot. An email thread from Apex's internal system. From Richard Crane to Investment Committee re-tomorrow's pipeline. 10:45. Zara Mitchell, Medilink AI, Healthcare Diagnostic Platform. Stanford dropout, solo founder, Oakland-based. Probably a pass, but taking the meeting for optics. Let's keep it short. Patricia Wu's response, timestamped the night before Zara's pitch. Agreed. Not our founder profile. 15 mins max. Zara feels something cold settle in her chest. Not surprise, confirmation. They'd decided before she walked in. Before she spoke. Before they saw a single slide, she screenshots everything. Saves them in a folder. Her hands are steady. Zara. Why are you telling me this? Priya Sim, because I'm tired of watching this happen. I'm tired of being the diverse intern they parade around while making decisions like this. You deserved a real shot. Your technology is incredible. I read your white paper after you left. They didn't even look at it. Zara sits back. The apartment is quiet except for her servers humming. She opens the screenshots again, reads Crane's words. Not our founder profile. She thinks about the meeting. Crane's impatience. Patricia's skepticism. David's laugh. It wasn't about Medilink's viability. It was never about the technology. Her phone buzzes. Marcus texting. Any luck with other VCs? She'd sent decks to 12 firms. 8 haven't responded. 3 sent polite rejections within 48 hours. 1 wants a second meeting, but at half the valuation. Zara looks at her grandmother's photo, then at the screenshots of Crane's emails, then at her whiteboard covered in algorithms that work, data that proves it, technology that saves lives. Dr. Chen's voice in her memory. Build so well they can't deny you. She opens a new document. Starts a list. Not of venture firms this time, but of angel investors, Black founders who exited, women who built billion-dollar companies outside the traditional system. Diverse VCs tired of the Sand Hill Road playbook. She'll build a different cap table. Investors who see her, not their bias. People who want to disrupt the system, not protect it, and she'll keep those screenshots. She doesn't know how she'll use them yet, but she will. The rejection isn't just personal anymore. It's evidence. 3 weeks after the Apex rejection, Zara is coding at 11 p.m. when the LinkedIn message appears. Priya Sharma. Hi Zara. We haven't met, but I was an intern at Apex during your pitch. There's something you should know. Zara stares at the screen. The profile shows a young Stanford senior, previous internships at Google and Sequoia. She types, "What do you mean?" The response comes immediately. Priya, they didn't read your deck. Crane told us the day before. Another diversity pitch, probably not our demographic. I thought you should know. A screenshot appears. An email thread from Apex's internal system, from Richard Crane to Investment Committee. Tomorrow's pipeline. 10:45. Zara Mitchell, Medilink AI. Stanford dropout, solo founder. Probably a pass, but taking the meeting for optics. Keep it short. Patricia Wu's response, agreed. Not our founder profile. Zara's hands freeze. She reads it twice. They'd decided before she walked in. Before she spoke a word. She screenshots everything. Saves them in a folder labeled receipts. Zara. Why tell me this? Priya Sim, because I'm tired of watching this happen. Your technology is incredible. I read your white paper after. They didn't even look. Zara sits back. The apartment is quiet except for server hum. She opens the screenshots again, reads Crane's words. Not our founder profile. She thinks about the meeting. His impatience, Patricia's skepticism, David's laugh. It wasn't about Medilink's viability. It was never about the technology. Her phone buzzes. Marcus, any luck with other VCs? 8 firms haven't responded. 3 sent polite rejections. 1 wants a meeting at half the valuation. Zara looks at her grandmother's photo, then at Crane's emails, then at her whiteboard. Algorithms that work, data that proves it. She opens a new document, starts a list, not of venture firms but of angel investors. Black founders who exited. Women who built outside the traditional system. Diverse VCs tired of Sandhill Road's playbook. She'll build a different cap table. Investors who see her, and she'll keep these screenshots. Evidence for later. 4 months pass like a fever dream. Zara launches Medilink's beta with 50 community health clinics across Oakland, Richmond and East Palo Alto. The places traditional healthcare ignores. The results come fast. Diagnosis accuracy rates climbing to 91%. Average time to treatment cut by half. Costs dropping 40%. Patients send emails with words like life-saving and finally heard. TechCrunch notices first. First small piece. AI diagnostic tool shows promise in underserved communities. Then Wired runs a feature. Then NPR interviews 3 patients whose lives changed. Zara's inbox explodes. Meeting requests from investors who ghosted her 6 months ago. Enterprise partnerships, acquisition feelers, and 1 email that makes her pause. From Richard Crane, Apex Ventures subject reconnecting Zara. Impressive traction with Medilink. Would love to revisit our conversation. Available next week? She stares at it for 10 minutes. Then replies Thursday at 2. Apex's conference room looks exactly the same. Crane sits in the same chair wearing the same expression, confidence wrapped in expensive fabric. But his handshake lingers a second longer this time. His smile is wider. Zara, great to see you. Congratulations on the press. She sits. Says nothing. We've been following your progress, he continues. The clinic partnerships are smart. Bootstrapping shows resourcefulness. That's exactly the kind of grit we look for. Patricia Wu enters, apologizing for being late. She doesn't remember needing to apologize last time. Crane leans forward. We'd like to revisit. Lead your Series A. Give you the resources to scale nationally. Real infrastructure, enterprise sales, the works. Zara nods slowly. At what valuation? He slides a term sheet across the table. She scans it. The number makes her jaw tighten. 12 million. Half what she asked for 6 months ago? Given your current runway and infrastructure gaps, Crane says smoothly, we think this reflects fair market value. Plus you'd have Apex's network. That's worth more than capital. Zara sets the paper down. She thinks about his email. Not our demographic. She thinks about 9 minutes. She thinks about Dr. Chen's voice. Build so well they can't deny you, she stands. Thank you for the offer, Richard. I'll pass. His face shifts. The smile thins. You're turning down Apex? I'm turning down being undervalued twice by the same people. Patricia's eyes widen. Crane's jaw tightens. You're making a mistake, he says. Competitors are circling. Without institutional backing, you'll get crushed. Zara picks up her bag. Then I'll get crushed on my own terms. She walks out. This time, nobody escorts her. In the elevator, her hands shake. Not from fear, from adrenaline. She just rejected Richard Crane. Again, her phone buzzes. Marcus, how'd it go? She types, we're going to need a bigger vision. 2 days later, Zara's servers crash at 3 a.m., not a glitch. Not traffic overload, a coordinated distributed denial of service attack. Thousands of requests flooding in simultaneously, choking every system. Her lead engineer Marcus traces the source, while she watches helplessly via video call. Shell companies. Encrypted routing. Professional. Someone paid for this, Marcus says. His face on screen looks exhausted. This is sophisticated. Expensive. By morning they've restored service. But the damage spreads differently. A tech blog, one Zara's never heard of, publishes a hit piece at 9 a.m. Medilink AI overhyped platform with questionable data. The article cites anonymous sources questioning her clinical trial methodology. Claims her accuracy rates are inflated. Suggests she's misrepresenting credentials, it's lies. All of it. But it's published, live spreading. Her phone rings. Dr. Sarah Kim from UCSF, one of her clinical validators. Zara, I'm getting calls from reporters, asking about the validity of our partnership. What's happening? Then another call. A clinic director in Richmond, nervous, apologetic. We're getting pressure from our parent hospital network. They're asking us to pause the Medilink pilot until this controversy settles. Zara sits in her apartment, laptop open to the cascading disaster. 3 more clinics email within the hour, pausing partnership pending review. One pulls out entirely. Her investor prospects go silent. The warm intros disappear. Meeting requests get cancelled. Marcus sends a message. Found something. The blog that published the hit piece. Registered to a shell company. Same structure as the DDoS attack. Someone's coordinating this, he sends a link. A corporate filing. The shell company has one investor listed. A private equity firm. Zara clicks through the corporate chain. Her stomach drops. The PE firm is in Apex Ventures' portfolio. Not directly connected, but close enough. Her phone buzzes. A text from Priya, the Stanford intern. Zara, they're trying to destroy you. I heard Crane on a call yesterday. He said you needed to learn your place. Please be careful. Zara sits in the dark. Her grandmother's photo stares from the desk. The Medilink dashboard shows declining user numbers. Clinics pulling out means patients losing access. Real people. Real consequences. She thinks about shutting down. Going back to corporate software. Admitting defeat. Then she picks up her phone. Opens Twitter. And starts typing. Thread. Let me tell you about what happens when you reject the wrong VC firm. Her finger hovers over send. This is nuclear. This will burn bridges. This might end her career. She thinks about Crane's face. His smirk. His words. Come back when you have a real team. She hits send. Zara doesn't send the thread. Not yet. She sits with her phone in her hand, the unsent tweet glowing accusingly. Exposing Apex could backfire, make her look bitter, desperate, unhinged. Silicon Valley protects its own. She could become unhireable. She deletes the draft. The apartment feels like a tomb. 3 more clinics pulled contracts overnight. Her team is panicking. Marcus sent a resignation letter this morning, then unsent it with an apology. Her CTO is fielding calls from worried engineers. Her modest funding runway just became a cliff. Zara's phone sits silent on the desk. No investor calls. No partnership emails. The press that built her up has gone quiet, waiting to see if she'll collapse. She stands at the window. Oakland spreads below, lights in the fog, a city that never sees her. She thinks about her grandmother's hospital room, the beeping machines, the doctors who finally apologized when it was too late. She'd promised to build something different, something better. Instead, she built a target. Her laptop shows Medilink's dashboard, user numbers dropping, clinic partnerships withering, everything she'd built unraveling because one man decided she needed to be taught a lesson. She walks to her desk, opens the drawer. Inside, her grandmother's hospital bracelet, yellowed plastic with a misdiagnosis written in fading ink. She holds it, feeling its weight. The silence is complete. No buzzing phone, no teammate messages, just her and the wreckage. Then she picks up her laptop, opens her email, scrolls to the screenshots Priya sent months ago. Crane's emails, the not our demographic message, the premeditated dismissal. She opens a new document, starts writing. Not a tweet this time. Something different, a statement, evidence, a story. She types until her hands ache. The truth, laid out methodically. The rejection, the retaliation, the pattern. She attaches the screenshots, adds the DDoS attack logs Marcus traced, includes the corporate filings connecting the hit piece to Apex's portfolio. She doesn't send it. Not yet, but having it written, documented, ready changes something. She's not helpless. She's armed. Her phone buzzes. A text from Dr. Chen, her old Stanford mentor. Heard you're having a rough week. Remember what I told you. Build so well they can't deny you. You're close. Don't stop now. Zara reads it twice. Then she stands. Opens her whiteboard. Picks up a marker. If they want to destroy her through traditional channels, she'll build outside them. Zara calls an emergency all-hands at 6 a.m. Her team of 5 appears on Zoom, exhausted. Worried, loyal, we're pivoting, she says. No preamble. No more waiting for institutions. We go direct to consumers. Marcus looks skeptical. We don't have capital for that infrastructure. D2C means customer acquisition, payment processing, legal compliance. We crowdfund, Zara interrupts. Not for charity. For ownership. We offer early adopters equity. Make them stakeholders. Her CTO, Lisa, unmutes. That's actually brilliant. But we'd need a compelling story. Something that cuts through noise. Zara's screen shifts. She shares the document she wrote last night. The full story, screenshots included. We tell the truth. The team goes quiet reading. Then Marcus whistles low. This is nuclear. Yes, Zara says, and strategic. We're not just fundraising. We're exposing a system, building a movement. Within 2 hours, she's drafted a Medium post. Not angry, factual. The rejection, the evidence, the retaliation, the mission. She ends with an invitation. If you believe healthcare AI should serve everyone, not just whoever VCs deem worthy, join us. She publishes at noon. Then shares it on Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, every platform she has. The response is immediate. Within 6 hours, 50,000 views. By evening, 200,000. Patients sharing their stories of medical dismissal. Black founders posting their own rejection screenshots. Female engineers tagging their experiences. The thread goes viral not as gossip but as recognition. And then the donations start. $25 from a nurse in Atlanta. $100 from a software engineer in Seattle. $1,000 from a doctor who lost a patient to misdiagnosis. Small amounts but relentless. Zara watches the crowdfunding counter climb. $10,000, then $50,000, then $100,000 in 48 hours. Tech journalists start calling. Not for hit pieces, for her side. TechCrunch runs a feature, how one founder fought back against VC bias. Wired interviews her about systemic discrimination in funding. Allies emerge. Arlen Hamilton, the black woman investor behind Backstage Capital, tweets support. Reshma Saujani from Girls Who Code shares the story. Female founder who sold her company for $800 million sends a direct message. I'll invest. Tell me how much you need. Within 2 weeks, $3.2 million raised. Thousands of small investors. A dozen angels. 0 traditional VCs. Marcus sends a message at midnight. We just hit our runway target. Plus 6 months buffer. Zara sits in her apartment watching the numbers climb. She thinks about Crane's offer. $12 million for half her company. She just raised a third of that from people who believe in her mission, and she gave up less than 10% equity. She opens her email, types a message to Apex's general inbox. Richard, thank you for the term sheet. I found better investors. Best Zara, she doesn't send it. Deletes it instead. They'll hear about her success soon enough. Zara calls an emergency all-hands at 6 a.m. Her team of 5 appears on Zoom, exhausted, worried, loyal. We're pivoting, she says. Direct to consumers. No more institutions. Marcus looks skeptical. We don't have capital for that. We crowdfund. Offer equity to early adopters. Make them stakeholders. Lisa, her CTO, nods slowly. We'd need a compelling story. Zara shares the document she wrote, the full story with screenshots. We tell the truth. The team reads. Marcus whistles. This is nuclear and strategic. We're not fundraising. We're building a movement. She drafts a Medium post. Not angry, factual. The rejection, evidence, retaliation, mission. She ends. If you believe healthcare AI should serve everyone, join us, published at noon. Shared everywhere. The response is immediate. Within 6 hours, 50,000 views. By evening, 200,000. Patients sharing medical dismissal stories. Black founders posting rejection screenshots. Female engineers tagging experiences. Then donations start. 25 from an Atlanta nurse. $100 from a Seattle engineer. $1,000 from a doctor who lost a patient. Small amounts relentless. The counter climbs. 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 in 48 hours. Allies emerge. Arlen Hamilton tweets support. Reshma Saujani shares the story. A female founder who sold her company for $800 million DMs. I'll invest. 2 weeks later, $3.2 million raised. Thousands of small investors. A dozen angels. 0 traditional VCs. Marcus messages at midnight. We hit our runway target. Plus buffer. Zara watches the numbers. Crane offered $12 million for half her company. She raised a third of that, gave up 10% equity and built something bigger. A community that believes. 6 months later, Zara stands backstage at Tech Summit San Francisco. The venue holds 3,000 people. Investors, founders, press, the entire industry packed into one room. She's the keynote. Her hands are steady. The host announces her. Please welcome Zara Mitchell, founder and CEO of Medilink AI. She walks on stage. Applause rises. The lights are bright, but she can see faces in the 4th row. Richard Crane sits there, arms crossed. Thank you, Zara begins. Her voice carries. I want to tell you about my funding journey. The screen behind her lights up. Medilink's logo. Then numbers. 200,000 active users. 89% diagnostic accuracy. Partnerships with Mayo Clinic, Kaiser, UCSF Medical. 18 months ago, I pitched to Apex Ventures. The meeting lasted 9 minutes, she clicks. A slide appears, the email from Crane. Not our demographic. The room goes silent. She hears gasps. They decided before I walked in, before they saw my data, before they understood what we'd built. Next slide, Patricia Wu's response. Not our founder profile. Crane shifts in his seat. Cameras swivel toward him. I was told to come back when I had a real team, real leadership, real credibility. She pauses. Looks directly at Crane. So I built without them. The next slides come fast, the community clinics, the patient testimonials, the crowdfunding campaign. The $3.2 million raised from thousands of people who saw what he couldn't. Then something interesting happened. After we got press, after we showed traction, Apex wanted back in. Offered to lead our Series A, she clicks. The term sheet appears. $12 million valuation. Half what I'd originally asked for. They called it fair market value. Scattered laughter. Uncomfortable but present. I declined. 2 days later, our servers were attacked. A hit piece appeared questioning our data. Clinics got pressured to drop us. All coordinated. All professional. She shows the corporate filings Marcus traced. The shell companies. The connection to Apex's portfolio. This is what happens when you say no to the wrong people. The room is completely silent now. Crane starts moving toward the exit. But here's what they didn't count on, Zara continues. Her voice rises. They didn't count on me building anyway. On patients who needed us. On investors who saw past their bias. On a community tired of watching talent get dismissed. Final slide. Medilink's current valuation. $1.2 billion. Unicorn status. The room erupts. Applause thunders. People stand. Cameras catch Crane pushing through the crowd, face red. Leaving, Zara stands at center stage, letting the moment land. She thinks of her grandmother. Of Dr. Chen, of every person who believed when institutions wouldn't. I was told I wasn't the right founder profile, she says into the noise. I built anyway, and that's my message. Build so well they can't deny you. Then build more. The applause continues. She walks off stage. By evening, Crane's resignation is announced. Apex issues a public apology. 3 diverse partners are promoted in his place. Zara gets a handwritten note delivered to her hotel. You built so well they couldn't deny you. Proud doesn't cover it. Dr. Chen, she keeps it in her pocket all night. 3 months later, Zara's new office overlooks San Francisco Bay. Medilink occupies 3 floors in Soma. Glass walls. Open workspaces. A server room that hums like a heartbeat. 200 employees now, half women and people of color. She walks through the engineering pod. Developers from Howard, Spelman, Stanford, dropouts like her. A Latina machine learning lead. A black infrastructure architect. People who were told they didn't fit founder profiles somewhere else. In the conference room, she's meeting with her new fund. $50 million committed exclusively to underrepresented founders in healthcare tech. No pattern matching, no demographic fit assessments, just ideas and execution. First cohort launches next month, Lisa tells her. 32 founders, 18 women, 24 people of color, average age 28. Zara smiles. Thinks about herself at 28, coding in an Oakland apartment, believing against evidence. Her phone buzzes. A patient email. Medilink caught my daughter's rare blood disorder. Doctors missed it for 2 years. You saved her life. She reads it twice. This is why, on Saturday, she drives to Colma. Her grandmother's grave has fresh flowers. Zara brings them every week now. She sits on the grass, tells her about the fund, the unicorn valuation, the lives saved. We did it, Grandma. We built something that sees people. Back at her apartment, she kept it despite offers to move. She stands at the old whiteboard, still covered in early Medilink code. She hasn't erased it. It won't on her desk, a framed screenshot from Tech Summit. The moment Crane walked out, caught by every camera. Not revenge, evidence that truth wins eventually. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She almost declines, then answers. Ms. Mitchell, this is Dr. Helena Chen. Zara sits up. Dr. Chen, I got your note. Thank you. I'm calling because I'm teaching a seminar at Stanford next semester. Building Beyond Bias. I'd like you to guest lecture. Tell your story. Zara thinks about 19-year-old her sitting outside the CS lab, learning that brilliance wasn't enough. I'd be honored. Bring your A-game, Dr. Chen says. These students need to hear from someone who proved the system wrong. After they hang up, Zara stands at her window. The Bay Bridge glows in the distance. Oakland to the east, the city that raised her. She thinks about the pivot point, the moment in Crane's office when she stood up and said no. The moment she chose her own path. Building outside the system hadn't just saved Medilink. It had created a new template, proof that there were other ways to win. Some doors close not because you're unworthy, but because you're building something they can't comprehend. Zara learned that rejection often reveals more about the rejecter than the rejected. The gatekeepers who dismissed her weren't evaluating her technology. They were protecting a system designed to exclude her. But bias has a fatal flaw. It's blind to brilliance it doesn't recognize. While they underestimated her, she built. While they sabotaged, she pivoted. While they protected their power, she created her own. Now her technology saves lives daily, the exact lives institutions failed. She didn't just disrupt an industry. She exposed its rotted foundations. The greatest response to being underestimated isn't anger. It's achievement they can't ignore. Zara didn't wait for permission. She didn't soften her edges to fit their mold. She built something so undeniable that their denial became irrelevant, and in doing so she opened doors for everyone coming after her. The 32 founders in her first cohort, the engineers who see themselves in her story, The patients who finally feel seen by technology that wasn't designed to overlook them. She thinks about Dr. Chen's words. Build so well they can't deny you. She'd done that. But she'd also learned something deeper. Sometimes you build so well you don't need their acknowledgement at all. The system won't change from kindness. It changes when people build around it, through it, despite it. When they prove that the old gatekeepers were never necessary. That excellence finds its own path. Zara stands in her office as the sun sets over the bay. Her grandmother's photo sits on the desk. The hospital bracelet beside it. Evidence of what happens when systems fail people, and next to them, a photo from Tech Summit. Her on stage, the truth on screen. Proof that one woman with code and conviction can shift an entire industry's axis. She opens her laptop, checks Medilink's dashboard. Lives improved, diagnoses made, patients heard. Then she opens her email. A dozen new pitches from founders who look like her, sound like her, were dismissed like her. She starts reading, evaluating, investing, building the world she wished existed when she needed it.